The second round of the playoffs is underway, and the 8 teams remaining are all fighting as hard as they can to stay alive and advance. The thing about the playoffs is that the deeper you go, the more likely you will be to run into a team that knows how to scheme for your weaknesses, and that's exactly what we'll be discussing today in the video. Today we'll be going through each of the 8 remaining teams in the playoffs, and we'll be pointing out the one thing that could hold them back from achieving further success because their opposition will look to exploit it. This can be certain styles of play, an individual player, or even a general fact about the makeup of a team. Before we start though, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. PrizePicks is the perfect service for all of us basketball fans here because when you're involved, it makes watching the games every night so much more fun and engaging. Basically, it's an application that provides you with lines on all kinds of individual player props, such as points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers made, amongst others, and you simply have to choose whether you believe they will record over the set amount in the line or under the set amount in the line. Make your selections, wager however much you want to, and if your picks hit, you can win some big money. For some picks that I'm looking at making for today's slate of games, I'm thinking of going with Luka to score over 32.5 points, Jay Crowder to make over 1.5 threes, and Chris Paul to dish out over 8.5 assists. If this sounds at all intriguing to you, then go use the link down in the description of the video to sign up today and use promo code REFERENCE to receive a 100% deposit match bonus up to $100. Once again, thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. We'll start with the teams in the Eastern Conference, so first up is the 1 seed Miami Heat, and the thing that could hold them back from moving forward is their half-court offense. The Heat were a unit built around their top 5 ranked defense this year in the regular season, and that suffocating defense has been the key to their success in the playoffs so far during this run as well. In round 1, they successfully took Trae Young completely out of his rhythm, which resulted in him having some of the worst performances of his NBA career to this point, and now in round 2. So far, they're doing similar things to James Harden against the 76ers team, missing Joel Embiid. The problem, though, is that they really don't have a very explosive offense. Coming into the playoffs, the only team in the East with a worse half-court offense statistically was the Toronto Raptors, and while it hasn't bitten them in the butt yet, during this run, they haven't exactly faced a difficult opponent yet either, so this will definitely be something to keep in mind as the series progresses, possibly with Embiid returning to the court and further down the line assuming they advance. Next up, we'll go to their opponent in the second round, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the thing that can and has been holding them back is the health of Joel Embiid. Without Embiid playing the first 2 games of the series against the Heat, there are a million different things you could point to as the reason behind why they're down 0-2 in the series, but the simple fact of the matter is that this roster is not built to survive minutes that Joel Embiid is not playing. It really is so unfortunate that a freak accident with Pascal Siakam resulted in garbage time of their clincher last series, because in order for the Sixers to succeed on either end of the floor, Embiid's impact needs to be felt. He's the anchor of the defense who protects the rim at an all-defense level. He's the obvious go-to scorer offensively, having led the NBA in scoring this season, and the attention that he draws from defenses makes the lives of the players around him like James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and Tobias Harris easier. The Sixers lack the quality depth that the other good teams like the Heat, Suns, and others have, so while Suns survived missing Devin Booker for their series, the Sixers cannot do the same without Embiid. Next up is the 2 seed Boston Celtics, and the thing that can hold them back the rest of the way is their ability to score in the paint. The Celtics have had a tendency all year long to rely on settling for long jumpers, and although their inside scoring did improve as the season progressed, they are now facing a team in the Bucks that are built to protect the paint as well as anybody. Guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown really like to shoot high volume from the outside, and they have shown that they can both be effective volume scorers while taking these more difficult shots. But as we saw in Game 1 of this series, if their jumper is not falling, then things can get ugly. In Game Game 2, the Celtics were knocking down their shots from the outside, with Jaylen Brown setting the tone early, making countless contested jumpers to fire the team up, which then opened things up for others to get going as the game progressed, but it's tough to be convinced that offense like that is easily replicatable. The series is a battle of two terrific defenses, so getting quality looks on offense is key to coming out on top. Now to go over to their opponent, the thing that can hold back the Bucks moving forward is their shot selection without Chris Middleton. According to reports, there is a chance that Middleton will be out for the entire series against the Celtics, which hurts the Bucks offensively, and with the Celtics coming in having the best ranked defense in the NBA, they need all of the offensive outlets that they can get. The strategy that the Celtics have been implementing against them so far have been pretty straightforward, walling off the paint when Giannis has the ball, throwing countless bodies at him, and not allowing him to get anything easy in the paint where he usually thrives. This has been working very well through 2 games, as Giannis is shooting just 38% from the field in this series, and while in Game 1 he did a very good job finding the open man with his shooters that converted their shots, in Game 2 it exposed the fact that the drive and kick game isn't always reliable, and you need more guys that can get their own offense, and Jrue Holiday alone is not enough there, which is where they are missing Middleton the most. Now over to the Western Conference, we'll start with the 1 seed Phoenix Suns, and with how well they're playing, it was tough to find something that truly stands out, but I settled on the fact that they don't really get to the free throw line very often at all. In the regular season, they ranked 27th out of 30 teams in free throw attempts per game, which is very close to the bottom of the league, and based on the way that they play, it makes sense. Their go-to scorers in Devin Booker and Chris Paul thrive in the mid-range, and then they have an abundance of shooters around them, but the infrequency that they drive to the basket could hurt in postseason play when defense gets stingier, defenses get more locked into contested shots, and the game slows down. DeAndre Ayton can be a force inside that could help this, but he operates primarily as a pick-and-roll threat who pops out to the mid-range as well from those actions, and there are definitely stretches where he doesn't get as many touches as he should be, so this is all stuff to just keep in the back of your mind moving forward. Now over to their current opponent, the biggest thing that could hold back the Dallas Mavericks is their playmaking outside of Luka Doncic. Jalen Brunson stepped up in a big way against the Utah Jazz in the first round, but through 2 games against the Suns, he has taken a massive step backward. The reality is that the Jazz have been a team that have struggled with its perimeter defense for a while, and they were a much easier opponent to exploit because of it, and now against a rock-solid team like the Phoenix Suns, the reality of the situation is shining through, showing that Luka still does not have a true number 2 option for a championship contending team. Last night, Luka had 35 points, and the next highest scorer was Reggie Bullock, who is a 3-and-D guy who thrives when his playmakers feed him the ball. In Game 1, Luka scored 45 points, and his next highest scorer in the game was Maxi Kleber, who offensively is another floor spacer who happened to catch fire from 3 on looks that were set up for him by his playmakers. Are you sensing a trend? Now over to the other series, the thing that can hold back the 2-seed Memphis Grizzlies is their general lack of experience. The Grizzlies are a fun, energetic, and entertaining team, and their up-tempo style of play can throw teams off at first, but once they adjust, it can lead to a lot of mistakes. Their series against the Warriors right now is tied at 1 game apiece, which is pretty good considering the opponent, but they still show that inexperience pretty frequently with some of the shots that they take, turnovers that they commit, and plays that they miss on over the course of a game that you don't usually see as often in teams that have been there before. I've pointed out in prior videos that the Grizzlies are the most reliant on transition offense of all of the playoff teams this year, which is an area that they dominate in, but playoff basketball is typically much slower paced, and when the game slows down, that is when they get beat. And finally, the thing that can hold back the Golden State Warriors moving forward is their overall shot selection. This applies to several players, and it kind of feels like they're experiencing some growing pains with new lineups at the worst time. Since Klay Thompson has returned from his injury, he's gone out and continually chucked up shot after shot, trying to find his rhythm. It happened all through the regular season, and it's still happening in spurts in the playoffs, and in Game 2 against the Grizzlies, it really hurt them. We all know Klay as the guy who can heat up at any moment, but the fact of the matter is that he's taking a lot of ill-advised shots, and the rest of the team has become more hesitant. Steph Curry isn't playing nearly as aggressively as he should be, Jordan Poole is still working through when he should be attacking and when he should be setting up his vets, and Andrew Wiggins, for the most part, has faded into the background after being named an All-Star. At their best, they can beat anybody, but they aren't playing their best right now. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think could hold these teams back moving forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.